Virat Kohli's Bangalore faces another must-win match tonight against the Kings from Punjab, but he has shown time and again that he loves challenges and overcoming the odds. His biggest challenge, however, will be to lead his Bangalore team into the playoffs. And if he does so, should Virat be given the reins of Indian cricket? Here is a report.
He is a one-man army, a man on a mission, striking fear in bowlers from across the world. Virat Kohli is leading the run-scoring charts and is the reason why Bangalore team is still in the race for the playoffs.
I back myself to go out there and go for the target, make sure I'm there in the end, try and win the game for the team, contribute as much as I can.
Kohli has scored 2 centuries and 4 half-centuries in just 8 IPL innings. His closest competitor is Hyderabad skipper David Warner, who has scored over 80 runs fewer. The big question is, with Virat in the form of his life, will it be right for BCCI to hand him the captaincy in all formats post IPL 9?
I think it's all about being absolutely convinced that you can hit in that area and get the result you want to.
Kohli has always raised his game when given the responsibility of captaincy. In tests where he is already leading India, Kohli averages much higher in 10 tests as captain than his overall record. This includes series wins over Sri Lanka and South Africa. In ODIs, his average as skipper is nearly 20 runs more than his overall record. While in the IPL, his win-loss record is close to 50%, despite having a below-par bowling attack. Kohli has shown that he is driven by wins and not personal goals.
I never looked at my score on the scoreboard. All I looked at was how many runs and balls are there and how much the difference is, how many runs we need to score in which over. And yeah, in that process, if you get a milestone and you get a victory like that, obviously it feels sweet.
While MS Dhoni has won 2 World Cups and led India into the semi-finals of 2 more, his lackluster captaincy in this IPL has left many bewildered. Whether it is his reluctance to accept responsibility with the bat or his mismanagement of ace spinner R. Ashwin, Dhoni's tactics have not yielded results and has left his Pune team struggling. Is it time up for MS Dhoni in the IPL and with Team India? And is Virat ready to take over? That remains the big question. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Let me bring in former India cricketer and captain Sourav Ganguly in this discussion. Sourav, next World Cup is in 3 years' time. Is it the right time for Virat Kohli to be given the reins and build the team around him? MS Dhoni surely has played his last World Cup. Do you think so? All right, we'll just connect with Sourav. Let me ask the same question to Nikhil. Nikhil, World Cup is in 3 years' time. Should Virat Kohli be given the time to build a team?
Well, he's in phenomenal form. If Mahendra Singh Dhoni is not going to be playing the next World Cup, you've got to give the youngster time to build his team as well. That record you see in this whole year, no matter what format he is, he's been getting runs by the bucketful. It just goes to show how hungry he is. He wants to lead from the front. He wants to go out there and take charge of situations as well. I think it's a phenomenal idea to go ahead and give him the opportunity to build his own team coming the next World Cup. But that doesn't mean that Mahendra Singh Dhoni is not good enough as a player. I think he's still a phenomenal batsman and a wicketkeeper in the shorter version of the game. Make no mistake that we still don't have a good enough replacement to fill those shoes.
Let me go across to Boria. Boria, we've just reached the semi-final of the World Cup. However, Dhoni's team in the IPL is really struggling. First time in 9 seasons that his team may not reach the playoffs. Given how Kohli is playing and how his teammates as well respect him, is it the right time to hand over the reins in T20s and ODIs to Virat Kohli as well?
I look at it this way. I mean, you have to ask yourself, 2019, do you see MS Dhoni? 2020, in the next edition of the World T20, do you see MS Dhoni being around? Yes, he's a competent wicketkeeper, very good wicketkeeper and an excellent runner between the wickets. But in terms of batting, Nikhil used the word phenomenal. He's not phenomenal anymore. Make no mistake about it, he's hardly phenomenal. Look at his performance in this year's IPL. Look at his performance in the one-day format. Look at his performance in the international version of the World T20. And you will see that Mahendra Singh Dhoni from the 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12 and the Mahendra Singh Dhoni of 2016 is a hell and heaven difference. He was India's go-to man, he was India's talisman, he was India's gem, and he was India's winner, match winner by quite a distance. He's no longer so. I mean, every good thing in sport comes to an end. Mahendra Singh Dhoni is a living legend, make no mistake about it, but so is Roger Federer. Can Roger Federer beat Novak Djokovic today? No. Is Rafael Nadal struggling on clay where he once was the Lord and Master? No. So every good thing has to come to an end, and I think Mahendra Singh Dhoni is in the last legs of his career. So make no mistake, this has to be Virat Kohli's team come 2019. 3 years down the line, is Mahendra Singh Dhoni going to be the same? Answer is no. And as captain, his handling of Ravichandran Ashwin has been appalling. 192 run chase, Ravi Ashwin bowls 1 over for 7 runs. If anybody comes and tells me there is no personal thing brewing there, I wouldn't believe it.
All right, now we can go across to former India captain Sourav Ganguly. Sourav, you know what it takes to lead India and the pressure it involves. At the same time, Dhoni has done a wonderful job. We've won 2 World Cups under him. But do you think the time is right for Virat Kohli to take over and the next chapter of Indian cricket under Virat Kohli, given Dhoni's captaincy in this IPL and how much he's come under fire for that?
To be honest, he has come under fire for that, but I think that's because he's gone into a new franchise, a new team. His side has not been the same as it has been before for the Chennai Super Kings. You got to take that into consideration. But coming to Virat Kohli, I think he's been exceptional. He's made a mark for himself. He's one of the best in the world at the moment. Whatever you've seen him as a Test captain, it's been phenomenal. My answer to this question is every cricket team in the world plans their future. You saw Michael Clarke retiring from captaincy, retiring from one-day cricket after he won the World Cup. Now, would you tell me that if he wanted to go on playing, any selector in world cricket would have left him out? I don't think so, because he's just won a World Cup. So my point is, more than what Dhoni's form is in the IPL or Dhoni's captaincy form is in the IPL is immaterial. My point is, what the selectors need to think is that 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, when the World Cup is going to happen, do they see MS Dhoni as captain of India? Do they see MS Dhoni taking India through? As Boria, as Nikhil has said, MS has been fantastic in the way he has gone about his job as captain. But does he have the ability in the next 4 years to see India into that World Cup in 2019? He's already given up Test cricket. So it's his one-day cricket and T20, and the next T20 cricket is in 2020. It's every 4 years now. So these are the questions the selectors need to ask and find answers to it. And Dhoni has been captain for 9 years, which is a long period. Does he have it in him to go for another 4 years? Do the selectors think that he's got in him to go another 4 years and be in captain a country for 13 years and take them into 2019 World Cup? I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. So I think that's a decision selectors will have to make.
Absolutely. And Dada, given that we have a candidate who's more than capable of taking over from Dhoni in Virat Kohli, do you think the time is right, given Kohli's form, currently regarded as the best batsman in the world, always leading from the front, always having a part in his team's victories, whether it being IPL or World T20s or whatnot?
Oh, he's getting better every time, Virat Kohli. There's no doubt about it. He's not one of the best, probably the best in the world in terms of consistency. His mental energy, his tenacity is unreal. He plays day in, day out cricket, and when it comes to the chase, even after fielding those 50 overs, those 20 overs, he just turns up and wins cricket matches. His attitude on the field is superb. His stint as captain has been outstanding. Winning Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka, whatever may be the side Sri Lanka had in that series, that's immaterial. You get to play what you get. So the beating South Africa in India 3-0 or 4-0, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was a whitewash. So his record as captain has been good. So my question is, and the selectors need to find an answer, is whether do they see Dhoni leading India in the 2019 World Cup 4 years down the line in England. If the answer is no, then find a new captain. If the answer is yes, which I will find very, very surprising, Dhoni continues.
Absolutely. Let's quickly take a look at the statistics of Virat Kohli actually, and how he always raises his game whenever his team needs it. And we've seen this in the recent T20 World Cup as well. However, he's India's Test captain. Let's take a look at his Test statistics. And Given the additional responsibility in tests, in just 10 matches, Virat's average has shot up from 44 to 52. In ODIs, it's even more extraordinary. In ODIs, Virat Kohli has led India in 17 matches and 14 victories out of those 17 matches. His average is a stunning 70.83, which is almost 20 more than his overall ODI record. So, Boria, clearly Virat enjoys responsibility. The question is not whether Dhoni will retire. Eventually he has to, but the question is this the right time for Virat to take over from Dhoni?
You know, Shobhit, this is a news channel, and one of the best people to analyze the Indian game is sitting in Cricket Association of Bengal doing this show for you, named Sourav Ganguly. And I quote what he just said: 4 years down the line, is Dhoni there? He'd be surprised. That's breaking news for you. Sourav Ganguly telling you in crystal clear terms that as much as you will get from our dear friend Sourav Ganguly, each of us will have to ask that question which I started with. Do you see MS Dhoni leading India in 2019? I will say the answer is no. Sourav will say the answer is he'd be surprised. I think there's enough there. 2020, do you see MS Dhoni in the World T20? I'll say the answer is a blatant no. Sourav will say he's surprised. I think there is enough there. I clearly think, when was MS given captaincy of India? 9 years back. How old is Virat Kohli today? Is he at the peak? Are you doing disservice to Virat Kohli by keeping him in abeyance for 4 more years? The answer is yes. The writing is on the wall. This is Virat Kohli's team. MS Dhoni is not the same batsman, not the same finisher, not the same match winner. I don't see him 4 years down the line. The debate is closed.
Right. Nikhil, do you think MS wouldn't have come under so much criticism had he taken on the responsibility with the bat for his team? He has been criticized a lot for coming way down the order when the matches have already been lost.
It's not just the IPL and coming batting low down the order. I mean, it's no rocket science until unless he's trying to do something else. When you know your match winners are injured, you are a world-beating batsman. Mahendra Singh Dhoni became Mahendra Singh Dhoni when he batted number 3 or opened the innings, when he got those big 150s, 160s, the helicopter shots. You got to soak in that responsibility, come and give yourself the opportunity. Out of 120 deliveries, give yourself the opportunity to bat for 60, 70 deliveries. You do that on your day, you'd win a game. But coming back to the captaincy issue, Shobhit, is very important. You look at the great captains of Indian cricket. Sourav Ganguly, clear example. He was allowed to build his team. He fought with the selectors, with the players that he believed in. He had clear role identifications for players, you know, whether it be Harbhajan Singh, Yuvraj Singh, Zahir Khan, all these guys he fought for, made a team and got competitive around the world. I think looking at the next World Cup in mind, you've got to give youngster, somebody like a Virat Kohli, enough time. There'll be players in and out of the Indian team as well with role identification. How he's going to build his team and how he's going to shape that team, you've got to give him time. Not on the brink of the start of the World Cup, you say, well, here are the reins, build your team. It's not going to work. Okay,
let me put that question across to Sourav Ganguly. Sourav, how much time would a new captain, in this case Virat Kohli, need to build a team heading into the 2019 and 2020 World Cups?
You know, as much time as he can, and I don't think he's a new captain. He's already captained in test matches for a while now, about 10 or 11 matches old in test cricket. He has captained IPL for a couple of years, so I don't think he's a new captain. It should be, as I said, the decision has to be made in terms of where MS Dhoni goes from here. You know, it's no disregard to him. He's been one of the greatest captains of the country, but you know, nothing can go on forever. And I'm not saying MS Dhoni has got to quit right now. The selectors need to find that answer from him and the selectors themselves. That does MS Dhoni go on and captain India in the 2019 World Cup? Because you must remember, he doesn't captain anymore in Test cricket, so that's done. So for him, the next big tournament is 2019 World Cup, and not even the T20 World Cup. It's in 2020. So do the selector. I don't know how old is MS Dhoni at the moment. 34, 35. So maybe three years down the line he'll be 38, and 4 years down the line he'll be almost 39, 40. So does he see himself going that far as captain? And sometimes I feel, you know, he's been under pressure so much, captaining in all formats of the game. It shows. You look at his beard; it's even more grayer than a 70-year-old man. You know, that's the pressures of captaincy of anybody in the world. Forget about MS Dhoni. So, you know, there are times when you don't captain the side and you reinvent yourself as a player. I think India still needs him in the shorter format of the game. If I was his captain, and I'm so fond of MS Dhoni, I would have said close your eyes and keep batting at number 4 till somebody throws you out from there. He just undermines his ability as a batsman at number 6 in T20 cricket. He's just too good to be wasted down the order. But that's the way he thinks, and that's the way I've been harping for the last 4 years, and I say that with all due respect. Not to undermine his ability, not to criticize, but I just feel he's too good a talent to keep batting at number 6. Sometimes when you keep batting at number 6 and don't score runs for a long period of time, you just lose the self-belief of scoring runs higher up the order. As much as I feel that he should continue to play in the shorter format of the game as a player, and everyone has done that. You take Tendulkar, you take Brian Lara, you take Ricky Ponting, you take Rahul Dravid, now you take some of the best in the world. They've done that as well, so there's no harm or there is no shame in doing that. So from that point of view, it's a decision he has to make. He's a responsible man. He's done a lot of good things for Indian cricket, but my question will still remain, does he see himself captaining India in the 2019 World Cup? If he gets the answer, that will solve the problem.
Right. Very quick comment from you, Boria. Of course, we go to Zimbabwe. Do we see Dhoni in that team, leading that team?
He shouldn't. Why? What does he have to do? Go to Zimbabwe and prove? Does he have? MS Dhoni is one of your greatest leaders. Look at the man's legacy. World Cup win, Champions Trophy win, T20 win. What has Dhoni left to achieve? 4 years, Sourav put it beautifully. His contribution to Indian cricket is unrivaled. But will he do his legacy any good by holding on to captaincy 3 years down the line? So what if MS Dhoni wins in Zimbabwe 3 straight? Does it add anything to his legacy, Shobit? Will you want Virat? Will you want maybe a Raina or a Rahane or whoever to go and captain? Do you need Dhoni for Zimbabwe or any of those series? The answer is brilliantly given by Sourav Ganguly. The writing is there. Let's celebrate MS for what he's done, but let's initiate Virat because he's the future.